Hey all, hope you're doing good. This is Abhimanyu Kumar, and today I want to speak on the Postman tool. We know how good this tool is for the developer, for the REST API developer. This tool can be utilized for the API testing, debugging, okay, and this is open source. So let's start with. I just wanted to for the uh, new developer or for the new engineer who has just joined the company and want to use this Postman tool as part of API testing, I think this session will help them to get this setup. So let's start with Scratch, I would say. Firstly, you need to download the Postman for your respective operating system. Okay, if you're downloading for the Windows, let's search for Postman download. So you can go through the Postman portal, and here you will have the options to download it. Okay, basis on your Windows version. So I already have this downloaded and installed in my local desktop. So I'll just go ahead and start this tool. Okay, so there are different you see this screen, it's a very interactive. Okay, you from starting left, you see there is a collection. Okay, you can create different type of namespace or folder here as per your domain or your work. Okay, environment, you can set some sort of variable environment variable for specific use, and all the history you can check and see here. Okay, and then moving on, you can, in the home you see there are there are API, REST API, and chatbot API. So there are built-in, API are already there. You can just explore here. Okay, then you can go to workspace. And let me tell you more thing. Before you do or start anything here, make sure you're login, and you're signing up, so that whatever API you created or collections or you're testing it, it should be there for forever. uh, we can start with hitting some sort of small or a sample API just for the example purpose. So I'll just search any open API link, and here you can see I've already searched one open API link. This is the REST endpoint. We can just try, and we can try to test it. So before testing it, let's go through all the method that we have available in this Postman. Get, as we know, we can retrieve the API response. This is a get call. Post call, if you want to update something, send something, create register. Similarly, put call we have for a specific update. Patch we also have. So these are HTTP method. Okay, so those are listed here. Delete, you have head and option. So these are the operations that you want to perform. Then next to it, you need to mention the endpoint, the API. Okay, and then if you have any parameter, suppose you're calling the API and API has the parameter, like you're calling a product, you want to pass the product ID, you can send the parameter here, and this will be extended as part of query parameter. Okay, so you can pass the key, the parameter name, and their value. Authorization, if API has anything security related implementation on that API, maybe the SSL, implementation, or key auth or OAuth implementation. So that you need to certify when you're calling them. Okay, so here is the option. Following the authorization option, you have different types of authorization mechanism. You can go ahead with no auth. If there is no auth, if there is a API key, what I said, key auth and key auth authentication. Okay, then you need to pass the API key and value. You also have so many bearer token. If you have JWT, uh, then basic authentication. In case of ID password, a simple basic authentication. You have digest, you have OAuth open authentication for both version 1 and 2. You also have hawk authentication and AWS signature, and you see a couple of more NTLM and Akamia. Okay, so these are the authorizations. So basis on your authorization on the API, you can choose the authorization option. Then if you have to pass anything in the header, you can set up here. Okay, so that header would be something, what sort of messages you want to retrieve. Okay, sort of content type, what is that content type. Other you see parameter, as soon as you type here, it has the intelligence feature. You'll get to see all the listed parameter here. Okay, so you can select that key and then accordingly you need to pass the value here. Here also in the value section, as soon as you select or enter any value, you'll get all the auto populated value. Then in the body, you have a different type of messages that you can pass. Just take an example for the post operation or put operation. You need to send something. Okay, there's an endpoint, and while you calling that endpoint, you need to pass the body as well. Maybe the request form, or the data that you want to save, you need to pass here. So accordingly, you have the options here. If it is in the form data, you can select it. You can pass the key value. If there is no header or body, obviously you can select none. If there's a WWX format, it means it will ask you for the again key value. Just you can pass ABC in the key and then in the value whatever is the value. And if it is in the raw format, you can pass in the raw format simple data. Okay, you also have a binary, you have a graph SQL. Okay, so in the raw you have a multiple options. You can pass text, you can pass JavaScript, JSON, HTML, and XML. So mainly when you consume or create a API, you tend to pass, you try to pass, and the communication, I would say the mechanism is JSON itself. Okay, so you want to have the JSON data being passed in the either in the request, or you want to consume in the JSON format itself. So the way of the kind of mechanism, data transfer mechanism you choose is the JSON. You also have XML option, but mostly you'll get to see JSON is the preferred one. Okay, so you can select the JSON, then you can pass here. If you don't have anything, you can select the none. Similarly, you have some more tab. You see pre-request script. If you have to test anything, if you have a setting, specific setting, yeah, let's talk about the setting. If you do not have any SSL implemented on the endpoint, you can turn off this. If you have it enabled or imposed on the API, you can enable it as well. Similarly, you have other options: automatically follow redirect if there's a redirect on that API. Okay, so you have different options. Once you're done with the input, you want to save that. So you can give it any name and then you save it, so it will be saved for your future reference. Okay, so let's test one of the open API. I'm just going ahead with the operation, get method, and I passed the endpoint and I'm trying to send it. Let's wait. Yeah, we can see the response. We got the response in form of JSON itself. Okay, we know JSON holds the data in key value format. Okay, so this is your data. You want to save this JSON. The response, you can save it. You want to clear it, you can clear it as well. So I think this is pretty much simple use case. If you want to test the REST endpoint, you can use get operation. For the create and update, you have a post and put method here. Okay, and if you have any specific setting, you can also select this setting icon and you can go through setting options. You will have all the setting options here. You see here there are multiple tab you have available. Okay, general, theme, shortcut, data, add-on. If you have certificate, in case of there is an API which has the SSL imposed on it, then probably you need to pass their public certificate as well in the request. Okay, so there here you can add the public certificate. Okay, if you have any proxy, you need to bypass the proxy, you can add your domain specific or maybe a company specific proxy as well. In case there is an update for this tool itself, you'll get to see here. You can check this button as well. And about this is the latest version we have as of now, and it is available for the desktop platform. Okay, and architecture, you see it supports 64 bit. So pretty much that's it for today. I hope this will help for the new learner or the guy who just want to explore this Postman tool. You also have a SOAP UI tool. SOAP UI you can also use for your REST and POST call, and that can be also used for the web services call. Okay, but Postman is nowadays, I would say, a popular tool and has so much advantages, and it pretty much simple to use. So I hope this will help you. Thank you so much for your time. Happy learning.